right, let's share this one. All right, let me get this all set up. We'll just prop it up and scoot it back.
All right.
I'm gonna get this all set up.
Are you live right now?
Yep.
Oh, it's not showing up on mine. Just share it.
Okay. Might have to refresh. Sorry about the technical difficulties,
go.
guys. We are back.
Whoop whoop.
Hi, guys. All right, let's everybody share this new link so we can get everyone joined back in. Sorry about that. I tested it earlier.
There we go.
And it worked. But for some reason, it decided not to work this time. Everyone join back. We can hear ourselves. Okay. Okay, let me type in the new link. Let's see. We are live. Join in now. I'm going to post that on my page.
I think I shared it on mine. I think I did.
Okay, cool. Hey, Crystal. All right. Can we get everyone joined back in? Make sure you guys share the link so we can get everyone joined back in our conversation and we can start over. Since no one heard us talking.
Right?
All right. We got some more viewers. All right. Hi, guys. All right. I was trying to avoid the up and down. I tested this out earlier and it worked.
Okay.
So I don't know what happened. All I did was close the lid of my laptop and I opened it back up. It should have worked.
We're back.
Yes, we are back. Hey, Michelle. Let's see. Who do we else have on? Beth Ann's back. Make sure you guys share it and like it if you like it. Hi, Missy. Hi, guys. Make sure you guys share the link so we can get everyone joined back in. All right. So today's topic is on schooling options. Oh, we can hear it. I'm making sure it works.
Yes.
They can hear us. Okay. Awesome. So today we have Vanessa Nakanishi, which I had nice little graphics at the bottom of my old video. But this works fine. Yeah, it is. Oh, whatever. We'll work with technology. I'm not that great. I'm okay with technology, but I'm not. Me and technology sometimes.
I'm okay with an iPhone.
Yeah. Hi, Angie. Make sure you guys share the link so we can get everyone joined in. But we have Vanessa here. We are going to be talking about schooling options and what might be best for your child. I'm going to scooch this back just a little bit more. Actually, here, we'll do this. You can scoot back here.
Oh, there you go. See that.
And Vanessa is a mom of 4 boys. She's a homeschool mom. I have 4 daughters, and I'm a private/public school, going to be just a private school mom eventually, but here soon. But we have different options and different reasons we chose what we did, but I wanted to kind of share our experiences. So Vanessa, if you want to tell a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I have 4 boys. They are 1, 5, 7, and 10. And my oldest went to public school, kindergarten, and first grade, but I felt a call from God that was pulling me towards homeschooling, but I thought all homeschool moms are crazy. Like, legit. I'm like, crazy homeschoolers, I'm good. But then I started noticing that my son was struggling, and there wasn't a lot of options for kids that are not diagnosed with anything, but they're still struggling.
Right.
So, and I would talk to the teacher and like, oh, he'll get it. And, maybe he would have got it. Maybe it would have been fine. But with the pull to homeschool, I felt that I was supposed to, that I just decided, you know what, God, I'll just do it. And if I mess it all up, then, it's on you.
Right.
But I did K-12 first. And you know what? If you are thinking of homeschooling and you are like scared to death, I would suggest doing online somehow, public online, just to get you started. I know not all homeschoolers agree with that.
Right.
But it was, for me, they give you everything. It's free, computer, and so much help. It really helped me feel confident enough that first year to actually step out of my comfort zone and do it. And then we went, will be our second, actually we're going into our 3rd year of just homeschool,
Wow.
where we don't do online anymore.
Yeah.
And it's been a challenge.
Oh, I'm sure.
I love my kids, but they're with me almost every day, and I'm teaching them, and it's a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. We have some more joined in. Hi, Tim and Tim. We have 2 Tims joined in. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Michelle. Let's see, what do you ask for from school? That's a good...
Well, you can go, and the only thing you have to do is notify your superintendent that you are declaring that you're homeschooling, and the homeschool that you have to get online, and they have a homeschool page that you can go to, and they print it all off.
Yeah.
And I can give you a link to put up later, like if that for if someone's interested. And you just declare it to your superintendent, you mail it to them, and you would always do like a certified letter.
Right.
But if you do public online, you don't have to do that. They kind of do all of that for you. But if you're doing just homeschooling, you have to declare that, and then you get back a letter saying that the state received it from the superintendent and that you're okay.
Okay.
So, and it's very detailed too.
Yeah. It's a process.
Yes.
I looked it up. We were considering homeschool before we chose the private school for my daughter. And it was so I was like, okay. And then you have to, don't you have to like every year you have to report get a teacher to like look over.
Yeah, but they have like my son did the California standardized testing last year, my oldest, and you don't have to report or give an evaluation until they're in first grade, like when they're going into first grade. So that I just let him do a standardized test online, and it tells you where he's at, if he's doing good or bad, or where that you want them to be. And if he isn't doing great, that's okay, because you just know where to start and to work at. And
it might be a good place to just start to know where to get the curriculum. But there were a few topic points I did want to cover through our conversation. And let's see. Oh, hi. My choir teacher's on here. Hi, nice to see you on here. And my mom's back. Let's see. Okay, so one of our topics was why we chose what we did for our children. So I'm a private school / public school mom, and you're a homeschool mom. So what made you choose to do homeschool?
Well, like I told you originally, it was really like I felt like it was something that God wanted me to do, and I don't think that like only homeschooling is the way to go,
right?
Because that's just ridiculous to think that. But for us, for my family, that's what I felt like we were supposed to do. And it has been such a learning experience, a trusting in who God is, what He wants me to be for me. You know, because I thought I was going to hate it. And I really did. And probably for the first 6 months, I did hate it. Just the thought of doing it every day and like, am I going to do this forever? But then it was like He started to mold me into who He knew I would be.
Right.
I mean, every day it's a learning experience, but just who I am now compared to, it's just amazing who God wanted, what He's did with homeschooling for me. Like but homeschooling, it's rough.
Oh, I can imagine.
It's fun, but it's rough. Some days are bad days, but then there's really good days.
Yeah.
Really good days.
Yeah, and for us, Malia, our oldest child, we originally had placed her in kindergarten in public school. And for her, it wasn't a great experience, especially like their disciplinary system that they had in the school. The school's great for a typical child, but she needed a little bit of extra help. She developed anxiety from their like discipline charts, and that's all she worried about. She was 4 before she was only 4 when she went into school, so she was not mature enough for it, even though the school suggested for us to place her that she'd be fine in kindergarten because she had done a year in preschool in a private preschool. And although we originally had gone in to sign her up for preschool, and that's what happened. They were like, oh no, she'll be fine, go ahead and put her in kindergarten and see how it goes, and then if it doesn't go right, they told us that she could repeat. Well, when it came time for her to repeat, they said, well, she tested okay, and we don't have enough space for her, so she needs to go to first grade. And we knew in our hearts she was not ready for first grade whatsoever. So we decided to find other options. We originally looked at homeschooling, and I talked to Vanessa about it a while back about the homeschooling options, but ultimately we found a private school that we really loved for her. It was a Montessori school. If you haven't done any research on Montessori, I'll do a little plug here for them. Look it up. Go on YouTube and find some videos on Montessori. They're amazing, amazing schools. And they really make your child feel confident in their learning. And that's what she needed, was to build her own confidence. She was, not confident in her reading, and now she's reading every night on her own, reading full books. So I'm really, really happy with her in that aspect. And we chose to, rather than put Sophia, our second child, into a private preschool, we felt she was okay to go to public school. Her personality and the way she is, I felt she would do fine in public school. We got the opportunity to put her in Montessori next year, so she'll be going.
That's good.
But even if we kept her in public school, I think she would have done perfectly fine.
That's how I feel about, for now we have one that's in first grade, and then we'll have another one that's coming into kindergarten. And I feel like if I would have sent both of them, they probably would have been perfectly fine. Yeah. But this is what I'm supposed to do, and I know I told you this earlier, but homeschooling is like a calling. Yeah.
If you're not called, don't do it.
Don't do it, because you need to have a why, a passionate why. Because if not, you'll be one weekend these jokers are going back.
I know. I have two at home during the day, and then Sophia comes home half the day. But I look forward to the mornings when they leave, when the older two leave. So homeschooling, that's what we chose. We were like, that's not for me. Yeah. I get happy when they go to school.
Yes, and I do. You know what I get happy about is when the youngest one takes his nap and we're finished with the morning school, and I have an hour and a half, 2 hours of to just chill and hang out with them, or they'll go play with their Legos or jump on the trampoline. And it still is a break. Right. So if you're thinking of homeschooling and you're like, I need a break, you can still get a break. Right. And you have evening back. Yeah. We got our evenings back, which was huge for us. Sports, it used to be school, and then my son was tutored. So school, tutoring, practice, or game, and then home, dinner, bed. No family time. Right. So I love that I got my evenings back.
I know in our district, we both are in Hamilton district.
Yes.
If you're a homeschool parent, your children can still participate
in all the sports.
It's pay to play, but they can participate in all of the sports in the district. So check out your district's guidelines on that. But I also wanted to talk about how homeschool has helped your child.
Yes. Well, my oldest, I think we talked about it before, but anxiety, he struggled with anxiety. You said your oldest did too. Yeah. But to see him come out of his shell that first year, he wouldn't talk to people, and he still is shy and still is backwards, but it just gave him some confidence of I can do this. I'm not stupid. He used to always say, I'm just so stupid.
That's what Malia used to do.
Yeah. And I mean,
I'm not smart.
Yes. And now he still struggles sometimes if he doesn't get something. I just don't get it. But to see him grow where he's at, because kids all learn differently. With homeschooling, what I do is if you're done and you get it and you get ahead, he can go on, my first grade can go on to second grade math. But if he's still struggling in reading, then we can work on that. But my kids have embraced who they are, and the outside opinions are not, I just don't see it as much as they don't worry as much about what shoes they have on, or if we dress them decent, right? But I'm
your
saying
kids always look good.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. It's just the pressure that school can be, the peer pressure that you feel the weight of it. And we belong to another thing I was going to plug real quick: co-ops. If you are going to homeschool, join a co-op, and that is where you get together with the homeschool families every week. it's just a miracle. You meet people and make friendships. It's huge, and it really helps your kid socialize. If you're worried about socialization, socialize too.
Yeah, which I think as long as you're involved in sports or church or some other activity, your kids are going to get socialized in that way anyways.
Definitely.
And I wanted to also go over what our experience, we kind of talked about what our experiences with the public school with our children were, and I know for Sophia, had we not had the opportunity to put her into Montessori next year, we would have placed her right into public school, because I think that would have been fine. She would have been a fine traditional learner, and the way that she learns is a self-motivator.
Yes.
So I think those self-motivated kids are the ones that are going to do great in public school. You can keep them in. They'll be fine. You're not going to have to worry about peer pressure as well, or the anxiety. But those children who are motivated by, what do I want to say? Like,
praise.
Praise. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. They're motivated by praise. Like, Malia is very motivated by praise. So in her classroom, it's not competitive learning. She did not like the competitive learning environment of a public school. Sophia thrives on a competitive learning environment.
Yes.
So I think that's the main difference between either like a homeschool or a specialized private school to a public school. Is your child going to thrive in that competitive environment of a public school where they're being compared to their peers, or is it going to cause them some sort of anxiety? And I think personally with Malia, it caused her anxiety, that competitive environment of being compared to the other students constantly, and the testing. She could not handle that testing.
Yes. And I mean, I understand why they want to test.
Right.
But with my son, like I feel like with testing, when he did it, because he was in public school until he was in first grade, it was a confidence destroyer.
Right.
Like, it destroyed it. He would get his test scores back.
Their light was gone.
Yes. And it was like, he did okay on some areas, but then he didn't do okay on other areas. And it was like, that kind of, he measured it on that. Like, even though he was only, 7, 8 years old, I mean, when you focus a lot on testing, that's just not for a child that young. Like, come on now, like, our kids need to learn.
Right. That's the first thing I heard. Oh, it's my brother texting me. Anyway, but the first thing when we sat down at our very first parent-teacher conference with Malia, the first thing they talked about was her test scores. They didn't talk about how she was doing socially with the other children. They didn't talk about how where she was as far as learning. Like, can she read? Can she do math? Like, that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Like, is she doing well in those areas? Because at home I'm seeing a struggle.
Yeah.
And when she would come home crying every day. Like, she'd have to sit down and do homework, and it took her about an hour every night for kindergarten.
Yeah, it was.
But for Sophia, that environment, and even like the homework or whatever, she's in preschool now, but in kindergarten, had she done that? I know all about testing. Yes, testing anxiety. That's something kids really struggle with, is that testing anxiety. But with Sophia, I think she would have done really well with it. Knowing where she was, it drives her forward.
Your kid's personality does play a huge role. And I would never be the person to say, never send your kid to public school. Right. Because I just feel like that's just impossible in this time for us to accommodate. Not all people can stay at home and teach their kids, or even do public online at home. It's just impossible.
Absolutely. And I think developing a relationship with your child's teacher really helps, and being on the same page with your teacher. Yes, that's where Malia was. Hamilton, they are crazy with the homework. An hour for kindergarten. Well, it might not take a typical child an hour.
I was going to say,
but it took my child an hour every night. So we got no family time.
Yes.
Because
streaming hour.
Yes.
Like a crying hour.
Yeah.
Because it was like, and that's okay. I understand that, like, they have the kids that are so far ahead, that
Yeah.
are good learners and they pick it up like that. So they have to accommodate for both.
Right.
It's just hard. I feel like that if you are not a traditional learner, the ball was dropped some. I'm not saying completely, and I don't know. Maybe if he would have stayed in public school, he would have did great. But for us,
it was the right decision.
Yes.
And then, let's see. I think I covered all this stuff. And then we pretty much covered all of the topics I wanted to talk about, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to sort of share some resources.
Okay.
If there are families out there considering homeschooling, if you have any questions, or if for Vanessa about that, but I wanted you to go ahead and she brought some resources here today.
I did. I won't put them like here for you guys to read, but I can tell you them. So we are homeschool where we're not online at all. So with that, we do a co-op and it's called Classical Conversations. And it covers geography, science, history, language, and like some memory work, which means like they memorize like facts and things like that. So that is, I started with that first year. I decided to just do it, and it really helped. And like the things that my kids remember, oh my gosh, like I promise you, they know all of Europe and like the countries in there and stuff. Like it's just phenomenal, the stuff what kids can remember. But it is dedication, and it's only one day a week, but you have to expound on that.
Yeah.
So that, if you wanted information on that, it's called classicalconversations.com. But if you wanted to do online, but not public online, there's something called Monarch, and I know there might be other ones, but that
I think Liberty
Christian University does it.
That's another one.
So I know that there's multiple options, so you can get on there and check that out. And it's very inexpensive if you look at the price range. It's like $30 a month, I think, but you have to be in 3rd grade. Okay. So if your kid's like younger, it's kind of you're doing it hands-on.
Right.
I don't know about Christian Liberty. It might be a Christian.
A Christian Liberty, I think, starts at kindergarten.
Okay.
I think they do, but I can't remember. It's been so long since I looked at it.
Yeah.
There are other options. There's online options if you're able to, sit with them and do that online, even in like kindergarten and the early years.
Yeah, and when they get older, they almost can do some of it by themselves because it does teach like as it goes. So they watch it and then learn as they go, almost like a computerized teacher.
Yeah.
But there's another book, a couple other curriculums, but Alpha.
I think we are. Well, let's see. I'm losing service. Let's switch it this way a little bit and see. I think we're connected. Okay. I think we're good.
All right. Good. So there is a couple of resources. There's Abeka, that's ABEKA. And I believe they have an online option.
Yeah, I've heard really great things about them.
And it's very rigorous. So if your child is very wants to learn, or you want them to learn more, we do Abeka Math and Abeka Language, and I can tell you it's rigorous. It's very much like it's ahead. Every other math that I've looked at maybe to switch to, we're ahead in it. I have to go grade ahead. So it is, but it's great because your kid learns a lot.
Right.
But there's also Sunlight, which is it's very similar to the other curriculums, but there's Sunlight and it has each grade set up. So if you want to look at it, that's a couple. So Sunlight, like SONLIGHT.
Yeah, and I've seen some moms, like I watch some mommy vloggers every once in a while, some homeschool moms, and that's where I'm starting to get my information about it. But I know that sometimes they mix curriculums. So you don't have to stick to one curriculum. You can add your own. Or sometimes they add their own units. So if your kid likes horses, I saw one mom, her kid liked horses. So they added a whole lesson plan for the year about horses. So, because she rode horses. So
it's and that's what it is nice that you can do that kind of things with it. Yes, I do Abeka and I do Spell UC, and I also do Handwriting Without Tears, which is a writing for handwriting.
Oh, okay.
So yes, I have Yes, I do not have just one.
Yeah, multiple
yes.
lessons. Hi, Kim. Hi, Alice. Hi, Roxanne. Everybody's joining in still. So we had talked about some of the options, but I definitely think remember that not every child is the same, and not every learner is the same. So they're going to learn in different ways and in different environments. If your child, like, I'll recap a little bit for those who just joined, but if your child, I feel like if your child's a competitive learner and they like to be competitive with the other students and it drives them, I think a public school is a great option. Even private schools as well, or even homeschool, because they're a self-motivated child, so that kid's going to be great in any environment. But we both have kids who have developed some anxiety with schooling, and those kids need that special attention that maybe a homeschool or a specialized private school, because some private schools are just like a public school, just in like a Christian school in a private school setting. But also some Christian schools have the curriculum. I think Madison Christian uses a backup.
They might.
They use some private schools use homeschool curriculum. So if you work and you can't stay home with your kid, then you can find a school that's going to have that homeschool curriculum that's going to allow your child to work at their own pace.
Yeah.
And I think for that child that has anxiety, they need that time to work at their own pace. And Malia needed that. And I think with the Montessori, she does the Montessori, that program, every child's program is specialized for that child. Yeah. So nobody is doing the same work. They all get to that level at some point, okay. But they all are at different levels. And all of their work, they're not sitting at desks, they're on the floor working with actual work in their hands. And I think it's an amazing thing for those kids who need to learn to focus, those kids who have the anxiety and don't need to be competitive with the other students, and that struggle in that way. So if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and we'll answer some questions. We'll have like a Q&A time. Hi, Aline. She's from our church. Sweet, sweet lady.
Yeah, and I was going to say, if you feel like that this is something you want to do, like you just like, I really want to homeschool my kids or private school my kids, then I suggest that you do it. Like, try it out.
Try it.
The thing is that your kids will learn. Like, I was so overwhelmed at the thought that I was not going to be able to do this. But you follow, they give you such an outline of how to do it. You just follow the outline. Yeah. Just like a teacher would have an outline for the year.
Right.
And you teach them and they give you the answers. And it was, like, and some thing is that if your kid learns it fast, I mean,
they can move ahead.
They don't have to just stand there and wait. Like, oh, well, like sometimes you have to. Or if they're not, you can spend that extra week on the multiplication because they're just not getting it.
Right.
So I suggest just try it. Public school is always there.
And I know there was one mom, she's a good homeschool mom, a farmhouse full. I don't know if you've seen her vlogs on YouTube.
I don't think so.
But if you watch her on YouTube, she actually has 8 children. But she homeschools all of her kids. And she does different curriculums and develops curriculums. But she, in the summertime, she spends her summer doing lesson plans so that when school comes around, all she needs to do every day is flip to the next lesson, and her lesson plan for the day for every child is there. So
I do something that's like a crate system, and if you want to know what it is, it's by raisinClovers.com. She's the same thing, homeschool mom. Yeah. She's got 5 kids, and she developed this system. But yep, it's just same thing, lesson plan. I do it. We do 6 weeks on, 1 week off. Yeah. And we kind of homeschool all year round, but in the summer we'll take like a month off or whatever. But it's more grace for us, so that if we take time off, 2 weeks vacation in the wintertime.
Yeah. Like you guys just left for a weekend to go.
Yeah, then we have plenty of time to catch up or worry about it. So, but just lesson plan. It helps. You gotta have it.
Now, I have a question. Is there like, are you required to have so many hours? Because in public school or even in private school, they're required to have so many hours of learning time.
Yes, there is. It's the same as public. It's 36 weeks is what we plan out, but we do it all year round. So we do I wouldn't say we do more than 36 weeks, like if you think about like 36 weeks every single day, because we will do maybe a 4-day week and we'll take a Friday and go to Cosi or go with friends to the park.
Yeah, I know some moms take like a Friday and that's their field trip day. So like they'll do like a learning field trip and that'll count as a lesson in their plan because they went to visit a museum or did something educational on their day off.
Ohio requires 36 weeks.
Okay.
I mean, and I think it's 920 hours. Don't quote me. Go check the website. But I think it's something like that.
Wherever you live, just check out the requirements. They're usually on your state's website. And those will give you what you need to do as a homeschool parent, what's required from you, and what you need to keep in your portfolio, because most states require you to have a portfolio. I've even heard of like non-schooling homeschool, like they don't school homeschool. I've looked into it, but it doesn't quite make sense. But everything is a lesson. So like if they go outside and look at leaves, that's a lesson. It's like non-schooling school, so that's a fun option to look into.
I am not that person.
No, I need like structure.
Yeah, but I have heard of a blogger, like a vlogger, and she talks about it, and she has and I can't remember her name now, but that's what she does, and her kids, I mean, it works for her.
It just depends on what works for your family and what works for your child. And I think with even private and public school, you've got to develop a relationship with your child's teacher and be involved in even though you're not a homeschool mom, you need to be involved in what their curriculum is, or what's happening in their curriculum and what's happening in their lessons, so that you can be up to date on what they're learning about and be proactive. So if they're struggling in reading, you need to know from the teacher where they're struggling and how to help them.
That was an issue that we had. I felt like, did you feel like that?
Yeah.
I just felt like the communication was
it wasn't there. The school was very closed off, and I realized that's for safety reasons.
Oh, yeah.
But what I like about our private school is I get to go in, I get to have a conversation, even if it's for like 30 seconds, I can see my child's teacher every day, and I get immediate response from their teacher every single day. If they've had a bad day, the teacher will tell me when I pick her up. Your daughter, she's had a bad day today. She wasn't focused.
Is it a smaller?
Well, it's just, I wouldn't say, it's smaller than public school, but their class sizes are just the same. Okay. So they still have like 24 to 27
Maybe not
students.
Not
as many classrooms.
I think we had 12 kindergarten classes with 25 students.
Yeah, it was a lot.
That's a lot.
But I know with the public school, they, for safety reasons, the parents aren't allowed into the school. But what I decided to do was start emailing my child's teacher. So anytime Malia would come home and say, well, I didn't need to do that, I would say, well, I'm going to email your teacher and find out if you need to do that. And now when she tries to pull that kind of stuff, I'm like, I'm going to email your teacher, or I'm going to talk to your teacher at school tomorrow and find out, what's really going on.
Yeah.
Or, if she bullying or things like that, if she's being picked on, then I can immediately address the issue with the teacher because I have that relationship with her. And even in the public school, I developed that relationship. Don't expect your child's teacher to try to develop that relationship. You are going to have to be the one to initiate that. I had to find her email address, like on those schools' website. I wasn't provided that information up front.
I guess it depends on the school system you're into.
Right.
Yeah, because with ours, the communication was, I stayed at home, so I would volunteer. And the communication was, and I would, I was that mom at lunch that I would go up like, hey.
Yeah.
So he's not reading at a first grade level. But I don't, like every kid is different and every kid learns different. I've learned that.
Right.
So I don't want to blame that public school.
Right.
Because like every kid is different. And maybe even if I would have been homeschooling him, maybe he would have still struggled because he does still struggle, and we do homeschool.
Right. And even as a homeschool parent, some homeschool parents can say, well, they're home, I can just give them their books and they can do their work. You can't do it that way. You have to be involved in their education, whether they're homeschooled or in public school or private school, whatever their school situation is, you have to take that initiative and be involved in their education and involved with their teachers. And I think that's good if you have the time volunteering. I don't have the time because I have 2 little ones at home. Yeah. So I'm not at the school for Sophia.
But they would let me bring right at that time I had a 2 or 3 year old. And so they would let him come with me to like the book fair or whatever. Right. So that was nice.
Right. You just check it out and find out. Join the PTA, you know.
Join your PTA. Yeah. When I was there, I had to hunt them down. I had to hunt them down. I was that mom.
Yeah.
They hunted them down like, I want to be on the board.
Yeah. No. But you have to take the initiative. You just can't be passive in your child's learning, or they're not going. Don't expect your teacher and your child to figure it out themselves. You have to be active in their learning and what's going on in their school. And if you don't like something, speak up. You know, because they might just need you to speak up to say this isn't working, for them to make a change. Because if they're not getting the feedback from the parents, they don't know. Yeah. And I think. You know,
some parents, because some parents are like, well, they go to school and then they'll learn. So if they find that you're an involved parent, they might be more open, more to reach out if there's a problem, because they know you.
Don't be a jerk about it. Like,
please don't be that. But reach out, be involved. Yeah. You know, it's not all. You do their homework with them. Don't just let them do. You know, you have to be a good parent. Right. And be involved.
Right. Being involved is really, really important. Whatever school option you choose, and don't always assume your teacher's the culprit of the problem, or the you know, the problem in this situation. It might be your child that's the problem, and you need to talk to your child about how they're acting in class, or maybe how they're not paying attention, not doing their work. Yeah. And not just assuming your teacher's out. The teacher is out to get your child. Because I know some parents, I've seen that happen where they're like, well, my child, da 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 da. Well, did you ask the teacher what was going on? Because if Malia would come home and say, well, my teacher did this or that, the first thing I would do is email the teacher, not in a negative way towards her, but I'd say, Malia said this, I want to make sure this is true with you. You know, is this true? And if it isn't true, she's going to be in trouble with me about it. So I think whatever school option you choose, being an active participant in that education process is the most important thing, whatever child or whatever process or whatever education you choose for your child. So,
and if you choose to do homeschool instead of public school, you just realize you will have to be involved. But if you feel like that you need some structure, if you don't want to do that first step into it, then I would suggest look for something that's online that is structured to help you. Because don't just walk away because you're scared. Because I was going to walk away because I was so scared and overwhelmed and thought I could not do it. And I found out that it's great. It's so much me and my children who we have grown together. It's amazing, and the respect is there. You know, yes, they're kids, and yes, they can be a little wild, but I'm there. I'm in their life, and it's paid off. Yeah. Even though it's overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah. I think my husband said something recently, because I had been frustrated and I'm thinking about going back to work and all that, even though I've been a stay-at-home mom for 2 years. And I thought, I just make your life harder. And he's like, no, the most important thing that you do before cleaning the house, before doing the laundry, before everything else, is that you take care of our kids and you nurture our children. That is the most important thing that you do. So as a parent, the most important thing you do before anything else is making sure your child is taken care of and nurtured. And
I feel like that, for me, for my family, I am commanded to, I should say commanded, that's a rough word. I believe in training your kids in the way that they should be. Not letting them just do whatever they want to do. You need to train your children. Train them to do chores. Chores are important.
Yes.
Yes. But train your children, and not, so like that's a part of being a parent, being in their lives. So I feel like the homeschooling is teaching them, but it's also part of training them.
Right. And I think that's a great thing to remember. If you put I think having schedules helps. When you're like, okay, you wake up at this time, breakfast at this time, you know, get dressed, and then do your chores, and then schooling. That helps with homeschool, is to keep it on a schedule. Even when they go to public school in the morning, you should have a morning routine that keeps them on a schedule. I struggle with that. My hustand's the one that keeps the schedule going. I don't like to wake up in the morning.
When you have littles, like really little ones, and you're homeschooling, it's almost impossible to have like, this is exactly what we're going to do. But you need to have loose outline of what you're going to do. And sometimes morning school doesn't work, because you're like, I just wait for that nap time, and then I'll have 2 hours usually. To 2 hours to spend. Quality time teaching my kids. Right.
And you might, whatever works for your family. And I with these mommy chats, I think that's the message I'm getting across, is that you can't compare yourself to another parent. You can't compare yourself to another family. And you can't compare your children to other children. You have to decide what's best for your family, what's best for your children, and make those decisions on your own. That's why I like this format, where we can share ideas, because there might be something that you hadn't thought of before and might fit your family. But don't take what we say is Bible. We're just sharing our experiences as parents, and don't compare yourself to those other parents out there. Only look at your child and see how things are going in your own home before you try to compare to other families
or other children.
She has 4 children, I have 4 children, and they're all roughly around the same ages, but we chose completely different paths for our kids, and what was best for our children in our home.
So our family and our situation.
Hello, Bonnie. We have Bonnie and Misty, Cassie. Hi, everybody. Everyone's joined throughout. Thank you guys so much for joining in. Next week, I'm actually going to have my mom on Mommy Chat Monday next week. So if you've ever heard the saying, hindsight is 20/20. Well, I got the hindsight in here. She's raised 4 children. So we're going to have her on just to talk about maybe some of the mistakes she made, or some of the awesome positive things that she did and saw the results of as her kids were growing up. Me, wonderful me. So we're going to have her next week, and then in a few weeks we're going to have Beth Ann Edgars. She is a mom of triplets. She has triplet little girls. I think they're 1 now, or maybe almost 1. I think they're 1. I think they just had their birthday. But yeah, they are the cutest little girls, 3 little girls, and she has 2 older boys, so she has 5 children. So she's going to be talking about being a mom of multiples and what it's like to do that, and what kind of tips she has for moms for multiples. So I have the dates out there on the Mommy Chat Monday page. Make sure you guys like and share our page, and get more moms involved in the chat. If you have a topic, send us a message, and maybe you can be a guest on Mommy Chat Monday. So we love to keep the conversation going. But you guys have a great day. Thank you all for joining us.
Real quick, if you have any questions, you can private message me.
Yeah, I'll put her, I think I had your link to
I don't know everything. But,
but yeah, so message Vanessa Nakanishi, N-A-N-A-K-I. I can type it. I can't say it.
It's okay. It's N-A-K. I'll teach my kids. N-A-K-A-N-I-S-H-I.
Yeah, and she'll probably be the only one out there on Facebook. So you can Facebook message her if you have any questions about homeschooling, and I'll try to link her into this video in the comments later on. So thank you guys. Have a great day. Join us next week at 7 p.m. Bye, guys.
See ya.